and welcome to Cloud Interview Questions, an initiative by CloudWorthy. In the previous question, we saw the types of service models that an organization can generally choose, right? Based on their business requirements, based on their organization requirements, they can choose whatever type of service that they are want to consume, right? It can be an infrastructure as a service, it can be a platform as a service, or it can be a software as a service. Now we are going to see the types of deployment models that are generally provided by the cloud service provider. So CSP actually stands for cloud service provider, right? So they have their own type of portfolio or digital estate where they will provide you different sets of deployment model options, right? So it is one deployment model option as a whole, right? So they provide different types of deployment models, and organizations or cloud customers generally they can prefer either of these deployment model options, right? So the types of deployment models that are generally offered by the cloud service providers are public cloud, private, community, and hybrid. In a public cloud, all the infrastructure is completely provided by the cloud service provider, and the application OS, right? All these would be managed by it would be managed either by cloud service provider or customer. Wherever the infrastructure is generally shared or taken care by cloud service provider, then we call it as a public cloud, right? So for example, the Google Drive that we talked about, so it is a public cloud, right? So anyone with a Gmail account can actually access, and no one has control over the infrastructure except for Google themselves. So that is a better example for your uh, public cloud, right? And all three service models that we discussed previously fall under your public cloud. And then next one is private cloud, right? And a private cloud, so due to compliance requirements or due to criticality and sensitivity of the data, in many cases the organization they themselves want to retain the uh, cloud, private cloud infrastructure as well, cloud infrastructure as well. So instead of building an on-premise, they will build something called a virtual on-premise or a cloud on-premise. So it is in the on-premise, we will just build a cloud environment, right? So that is generally a private cloud. So it would be either managed by the in-house employees themselves, or they can actually outsource it, but still the control and accountability lies with the organization for the maintenance and monitoring of those on-premise private cloud environments. But generally, private cloud would be tagged to one particular organization, right? So it is for only one organization. What if two or three organizations like that, they just want to share a cloud? So it should not be a public cloud. It should not be open to all. But two or three cloud players, they themselves want to build a shared pool of cloud computing. Or in the gaming world, they can just procure a cloud server, and based on the user, they will just provision it for the particular user. So in those cases, we go for something called community cloud. So community cloud is generally an extension of a private cloud, wherein like instead of tagging it to one organization, two or three organizations, they can combine together and consume a cloud service. And the last option is hybrid cloud. So hybrid, as the name suggests, it is a combination of two or more deployment models. So you can either go for a private cloud and a public cloud. You can go for an on-premise cloud and a public cloud, or you can go for a private and like community and a public cloud and so forth. Right? So hybrid cloud generally provide you the maximum flexibility, because with the help of hybrid cloud, you can store both sensitive data as well as you can focus on cost efficiency as well, right? For an organization, probably only five applications may be more sensitive. It may contain the financial data, or it may contain the healthcare information, or it may contain the personal identifiable information, right? Only five applications may generally deal with the sensitive and critical data, right? And other 95 applications, they may contain non-sensitive data, right? So I cannot move all these 100 applications to cloud, because or to private cloud, because that will be a huge cost factor, right? It will actually take private cloud is more costlier, right? So in those cases, I cannot go for public cloud because it violates the compliance. If the regulatory body finds out, then it will impose fine, right, which is huge. To mitigate all this, we have this hybrid cloud option where you can store all the sensitive information in a private cloud and you can store all the non-sensitive information in a public cloud, right? That's why hybrid cloud is the most flexible one, public cloud is the most cheapest one, and private cloud is the most secure one. Okay. So with this, we have seen the four types of deployment models: public, private, community, and hybrid. Thank you all and see you tomorrow.